Hey y'all, it's Asia Lachelle here from the Fluffy Hustle, and today we are going to jump into part 2 of how to brand your boutique. We're going to specifically talk about brand design. I would like to ask you all, if you have found any of my videos helpful, please go ahead and smash the subscribe button, like the video, and leave me a comment. I absolutely love you guys' questions, and I like to engage with you in the comments. So feel free to ask me questions or leave a comment about what you think. And today I am determined to be a lot faster in getting through this content. So let's jump on into it. So let's talk about logo design, okay? So everybody knows that a logo is something that you absolutely need when branding your business, but there are some things I wanted to cover that you might not be aware of and to know to ask for when you are getting your logo design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to my brand board, which is something I covered with you guys on the last video. So if you don't know really quickly what a brand board is, it pretty much keeps you on track. It allows you to kind of put everything about your brand all on kind of like one page. Your color palette, the fonts you're going to use, your logo design, some of your inspiration patterns and things like that you like to use for your brand. And this helps to establish your brand's vibe and all of that kind of stuff. And it keeps you on track, definitely keeps me on track when I am making decisions, when I'm going to create, let's say, covers for my products, or I'm going to update my website, or whatever I want to do. I like to refer back to my brand board because it keeps me on track. But anywho, so what you will notice, what I'm pulling this up for is so that you can see my logo designs. So here's my primary design here. This is the pink one, but I also have an alternate one in black. The reason why I have basically a light and a dark version of my logo design is that, let's say I had a background that had a bunch of pink flowers, right? And then I placed my pink design on top of it. My design would probably get lost in the sauce and you could not see my design any longer. And so as a result, I have an alternative design that has a black background that would pop out against a pink design or something like that, and vice versa. So you typically want to have a light and a dark version of your logo design so that you can put your logo on top of any type of background and it will be seen and it will actually still look good aesthetically. The other thing that you want to look into is creating a submark. A submark is like a simplified version of your logo design. My logo design is pretty simple as it is, but some people do have a lot of stuff going on in their main design. Some people I know who like do lashes, they might have eyelashes or a whole face, or if they're doing hair, they have like pictures of hair and people with crowns on, or they might even have a logo that has like a cartoon design. And so when you have a main design that is very intricate, it's good to have a submark, which is a simplified logo design that you can use. Like, for example, if you're going to start, let's say, a clothing boutique and you want to have all of your clothes retagged with your brand in it, so you want to actually put a woven tag inside of your clothes. If you have a complicated logo design that, let's say, has like a picture of your face or eyelashes and a bunch of stuff going on, it's very hard to create a tag with all of that stuff going on. And the more colors and the more designs you have in your tag, the more expensive it is. So if you create a submark, which is a simplified version of your logo design, it'll be very easy for you to create that tag. So instead of having all of this in the tag, right, I could just have this pink F and H and then do the Fluffy Hustle on top of that. I could even take the Fluffy Hustle off of it and just have FH be my watermark or my submark. Okay. So those are the things that you want to definitely look at when you're getting your logo design, is that you have a light and a dark option. And if you have a complicated or a more detailed design, that you also get a submark made. So when you're talking to your graphic designer, if you're having somebody do this work for you, then you definitely want to discuss that with them and like, hey, I need a light and a dark version. I also want a submark made as well. Or if you're creating it for yourself, like let's say inside of Canva, like I did, like you can do it yourself. You can create a light and a dark option. Okay. And then just to let you guys know, I do have DIY logos that you can use. And so these are pre-made templates that you can go in and you can edit these templates. You can change the colors, you can change the fonts around, you can do all kinds of stuff with these templates. And you can create a light and a dark version for yourself. So if you guys are interested in having a logo that looks a little bit more upscale and a little bit more professional, but also is cost effective, then check out my DIY logo designs on my website. They're $24.99, and right now everything on my website is 50% off, so you can literally get a logo design for $12.50. So anyway, shameless plug. Let's get back to the presentation. So next you want to talk about you want to get into your social media graphics. So your social media graphics are going to be things like this. Let me go over here. So these are going to be the things that you post to your Facebook, your Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, things like that. Any website that is going to require some sort of graphic for you to display your products, you want to think about what your social media graphics are going to look like for your brand. So for me, I'm not a fan of people just doing regular like stock photos. I love seeing stuff like this because to me, it elevates your brand. It takes it to the next level when you take time to do stuff like this for your brand. So you want to think about, and it don't have to be as razzle dazzle as this is, but you should think about for your brand and for your brand's vibe, how you want your graphics to look when you post them to social media. Okay. So those are the graphics that I'm talking about. So your post, also your Instagram highlight cover. So these things right here that you put at the top of your Instagram page, your covers, these are the things that you also want to have. If you are interested in using this template, these are editable templates, so you can change the colors to whatever you like them to be. You can change all of this stuff around in these templates. You can change the background to whatever you want. It's editable inside of Canva. There are 50 different covers for beauty and fashion in here. So anyway, yes, and that's available on my website as well. But you definitely want to make sure you have these things and make sure that they are cohesive and they work well for your specific brand. So those are the things. Also like your Facebook page cover, those are the types of things that you want to consider. Those are your social media graphics. So you want to pay attention to how those look. And again, go back to your brand board and look at your color palette and look at what your inspiration board, your inspiration was, and make sure that it is consistent with what you have on your brand board and on your mood board. Okay. So that's your social media graphics. Next, you want to look at your marketing graphics. So your marketing graphics could be things like your business card or any kind of physical flyers that you may have printed out and done that you might want to include in your packaging when you send out your packages, or if you're going to create flyers to drop around your local area. Whatever you're going to use for marketing, these are your marketing graphics. If you are going to do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, influencer ads, you need to create marketing materials for those platforms. And so that's going to be all your marketing graphics. And again, your marketing graphics should also be consistent with your brand and convey a specific vibe when it comes to your brand. So those are the things what you're going to do when you're talking about your marketing. You want to have your marketing graphics, so you can do something like, let's say, something like this where it's showing like a sale or something like that. This is something that will be considered a marketing graphic. Like you could take this graphic, you can post it on your Instagram page, and you could boost that post, and that could turn into an ad on Instagram. You can also turn this into an ad on Facebook. Okay, so whatever you're going to use for marketing, That's what we're talking about here. Okay, so anything that you would use to advertise your business, you need to get that together. And again, make sure it flows with your overall brand's vibe. Okay, and then lastly, what you're going to need for your branding is your website design. Website design is huge. It is important. It's not something I want to say that I don't think that anybody should fret over. You can keep this simple, okay? You could keep your website very, very simple, but just keep it on par with your brand, okay? Just keep it on par with your brand, whether it just be the color scheme or whatever, but you want to talk about your website design. So if you guys are getting someone to design your website for you, make sure that you show them examples of websites that you like. Make sure that you show your graphic designer your brand board so that they understand the vibe of your brand before they start working and doing work for you. I've had people say, oh, I had such and such design my website and it doesn't look how I want it to. It doesn't have the vibe that I want. It looks old school. It looks like a granny website or something like that. And I'm like, well, did you give them anything to give them inspiration? Well, no. Well, then how are they supposed to know what you're looking for? So when you're doing your website design, especially if you are going to be hiring someone to do the work for you, make sure you give them at least 3 to 5 examples of websites that you like. Make sure that you provide them with a mood board, so that in a mood board and a brand board, so that they understand what your brand is about and the vibe that you're going for. But yeah, your website is also part of your branding. It's a huge part of your branding, because that's the last thing the customer will see in the process. So if you've done everything right, you've posted online, you post on your Instagram, you posted on Facebook, you ran some ads, and now they're on your website. That's the last impression that they're going to have. And a lot of times the biggest impression of your brand is how your website looks. Some tips that I would give. This is the back end of my website on Shopify. And so what I want to show you here is make sure that if you are building your website yourself, or even if you're having somebody build the website for you, that they are optimizing it, meaning they are building it specifically for mobile view. It does no good if you have a really pretty website, like let's say, oh, okay, it looks great on desktop view, but if you switch over to mobile view, it looks horrible. You need a website that's going to look good on mobile. At this point, at least 80% of most websites traffic is coming from mobile. So, for example, if you're running ads on Facebook and Instagram, most people are on Facebook and Instagram on their phone, on a mobile device. So that means if they click on your ad, they're going to be going to your website on their mobile device. So you need to make sure that your website is optimized for mobile. Okay, so make sure that the design, the layout is very clean, it's simple, it's not overly complicated, it don't have too much stuff going on, too many pop-ups, too many things that would make the customer buying experience very complicated into where they wouldn't want to purchase. So just make sure you keep everything on par and that your branding looks good across the board. So you just want to keep everything like very, very consistent. So like if I'm showing you my own website, right? So if you looked at my brand board, the colors, the fonts, everything is the same. My website is very simple. But even if you look at the covers for my products, I'm using the same exact fonts, same color scheme. Everything is pretty consistent across the board. And then here's some more products here. But then when you scroll down, this is my Instagram feed. And if you can't really see a big difference between how my IG feed looks and how my actual website looks, because I'm very aware of like keeping on par with my brand, and I want my followers to know that certain stuff is me when they see it. Like I want it to get to the point where when people see a certain color palette, when they see a certain font, when they see certain stuff coming from me, they know that it is me, because that's just how my stuff looks. Okay, so you want to work hard for that to establish what's called your brand identity. And your brand design, all these design elements play a huge part in establishing your brand's identity with your potential customers. So that, lovely people, is pretty much everything in regards to how to brand your business, specifically around brand design. Those are all the different components that you should definitely consider when doing all of your design elements. So that's pretty much it. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and I will be posting part 3 very, very soon. Catch you later. Bye.